Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I'm glad you're here. Today, I want to thank the channel members as always. Thank you, thank you. And I want to thank any of you who've come in to check out the knife, the EDC, the struggle bus, the disassembly video. Thank you, thank you. If you're so inclined, if you haven't had a chance yet, if you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon, it really helps me out. But today what we're going to get into is this is the County Com Vosteed collaboration, their little Ultim Nightshade Mini. And when I did the unboxing and the review, I kind of alluded to they sent some extra axis springs, and they sent, you can see through where the actual springs can be tightened up. I seem to like the detent as it is, but for science, I figured we would take this apart and we would actually get into it, adjust the detent, try it and see what we think. Now the body screws on this guy are T6s and the pivots T8s. Keep those together. And now let's take out our screw and then our two backspacer screws. All right. Let's get our T8. And I'm probably going to have to, I'm guessing, take both sides off. No, maybe not. We'll see. Got one more, this body screw that I need to go ahead and get my County Com wedgie. I need to replace that. I need to get a fresher one of those. This is what's holding that little steel. All right. So I need to see about getting the axis spring off like that. Backspacer. I'm not sure. I know what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to get, it's probably not going to work, but I'm going to get my little Benchmade pivot tool to see if I can push that pivot out. I know it's got two sizes. I see it's a D-shaped pivot. Let's break this bad boy out. Hadn't been used in a while. Let's find the smaller size. It's going to be too big, I'm afraid. I still push it through, but it's not going to be thick enough to get us back in there. So we're just going to break it apart. We got the little tiny bearings. I don't think we're going to have bearings to replace that with, but let's take our other top screw and our other body screw. So we can maybe remove this cage. There we go. All right, so here, really all we need to do is adjust our spring. So I'm thinking I can pull this down and move it over. Now I've just increased that spring tension about halfway up. So if I go back in here, pop my axis spring down on there. Let's see if I can get it popped in there. It's just a matter of lining it up. I don't have the best tools, i.e. my fingernail. But let's get that captured. There we go. And I'm thinking if I go all the way to the front, it might be too tight. If we go all the way to the front, yeah, I'm gonna do the middle. We're gonna split the difference. We can always come back in and do something different. All right, so now we've adjusted our axis lock, and we're gonna come back here. Let's see, we're gonna come back here, and I'm going to drop a body screw in here. Just to hold that in place. Whoops. All right. So we got that in. That screw fell out. That one's in, but it's not wanting to lock up in there because I don't have any pressure on it yet. All right, so now I've got to find a way to get my blade and my pivot back through. My little teeny weeny bearings, I don't think I have any skiffs that are that teeny weeny. Let me look. Is that over there? No, I don't have any that teeny. Nope. But what we can do is we can size them out, and we will learn with our cheat sheet, which I do urge you guys, if you like upgrading your bearings, these are great. I'm guessing that's going to be 1 millimeter, slides right through there. So the thinnest 1 millimeter. My pivot is 4 millimeters. So 4 millimeter, 1 millimeter, little bitty washers, little bitty bearings. So let's see if we can jimmy this thing back together. Just clean off our blade. I'm gonna get that because I might have to switch axis springs. I'm going to take this body screw, and I'm going to get it holding that side. I don't know why that's wanting to pop. Well, I've got tension. That should just clip right in there. Alright, so it'll stay in there once we get it fleshed up. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do is get my pivot. I want my bearings facing the blade. And this is probably, I'm going to probably have to abort this and take it apart and build it the normal way, because this just looks like it's going to be it's going to require too much luck. We'll see. Let's see if we can get that around the pivot, which he did. Now let's get our blade. See if we can get it to come up through there a little bit more. Whoops. Not that much more. And you're noticing I'm not lubing it up. That's because I don't have the confidence that I'm going to be able to necessarily knock this out the way I'm hoping to. That the chances of me threading all these through to the other liner are kind of wishful thinking. However, it's worth trying, right? Alright, so what I'm going to do is take this janky spring off. I'm going to take this screw out again. And I'm going to attempt to take this whole side off. Push my pivot back out because it did lock on that where I want it to lock, but I need to line some shit up first. See how I can separate that. Let's see. Alright, I've got that little pin that's kind of press fit in there. It seems like it's holding that one side in place. Which I don't necessarily want held in place, so let's do this. Just go balls out. Let's see if it'll let me pop that. Now it's wanting all that to stay together. So herein lies the trick, kids. Here's what's going to make this such a pain in the ass. For me to keep this assembly together, I have got to thread it in the washer. I'm doing this through a camera. So I can get this pivot Guys, I apologize for the struggle bus, and I know there's an easier way to do this. I'm just not keen to it. I don't want to rip that. I might have to just rip this apart because it is getting, let's do this. Springs are apart, bars loose, bars out. All right, that's what we wanted. Now we're going to go build it from scratch, which would be this side. All right, so pivot, D-shape, check. Now we can break out our KPL. Little dab will do you. Check. Hit our bearing. We'll have the ceramic smooth side facing the blade. Put our little stop pin. Check. Blade. Check. See how much easier it is when you can build it in actual order. I don't know why I was going brain dead. I've still got to get it put together, so I'm by no means in the home stretch. But I like to think optimistically making progress, maybe. All right, now I have to get this. There's a problem. I don't have that side locked down, which this side, unfortunately, is going to require being locked down for us to get this pin back. Let's see. Alright guys, I'm just kind of being quiet as I fish my little hook over to the setting that I want, which is the middle setting. But I've got to go up in there. So far, no good. Alright. There is that. Where did our little stop pin go? One. Let's see. Guys, this has proven to be a challenge only because I haven't done it before and I didn't watch anything on an easier way maybe to do it. So what I'm going to do is try to get this lined up. I've got a little spring tension now. Make sure it stays in my center area, which it is. And then I'm going to attempt to build it back using all our little parts. And our blade. More lube than I need, but that's one thing I can control. Now I have to pull that back. To get my blade captured. It's a lot tighter. And my fingers now have oil on it. I think I just popped it out. I did. God dang it. Alright guys. So that was a fail. See if we can't get this little guy pinned right there. Right in that front area where it'll snap back. There's a little like wave, and if I get it up to the top part, here, it should snap back and keep itself secured, at least up there at the top, which it is. Alright, let's try this again. Sorry for the dog. I don't know whose dog it is, but it's definitely got the bark going. Alright, so my big trick is going to be to keep it in line, keep the lock from springing out when I position my blade over that crossbar lock, because you've got to move the crossbar back ever so slightly to get the blade to clear that little area. We're just going to give that a little tweak to kind of tighten that in, and then I'm going to go one step further, and I'm going to take this little screw. Those are further screws. And let's take this buddy screw. Alright, so we got buddy. And I bet you that screw is a short one, which it is. It should be this one, which it's not, because that's going to be my other body screw. That's the kind of thing you got to look for when you're putting these together, because this longer screw holds a stop pin, but it's wanting to free spin on me. One second, guys. Call in my reinforcements. Make sure I've got the right size screw. Alright, this is acting weird, which should not surprise me. Let's go with this screw. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Guys, I'm sorry this is taking so long and we're not even halfway home yet. Well, that's right. All right, we got that going. So now let's try again with our pivot. Perfect. A drop of KPL. Perfect. Bearing facing our blade. Perfect. A little drop of original. Perfect. Now, getting our blade to slip on there. Going to prove a little trickier. I'll tell you what, we've definitely got a strengthened spring area with our moved up spring. It is a lot harder to manipulate, but that's going to come in handy. It held in place there, which is good, which means, God willing, we are making progress. And we'll pop this down. And then this is where the rubber meets the road, kids. Now I'm going to attempt to keep my pivot steady, lock my axis spring down without cutting my finger, which that's done. Yep, I did it wrong. I should have done, maybe not. Just doing a little finagling, guys. All right, so progress until then, till I threw it off the fucking table, but the spring's still in the same spot. That's what I wanted to make sure. What a joke. Not on the knife, on me, guys. All right, so that threw everything off, which I should have figured. There we go. All right, so we've got our pivot pushed through pretty good. Now I want to snap my axis style spring here right back behind that little nut. Guys, these are always going to be finagly, whether you're doing Benchmades, whether you're doing Kaisers, axis springs can be very, very easy. They can be finicky. That's why people love them or hate them. I've luckily, knock on wood, never lost a set, never had to replace a set. You know, I'm doing this for science, and I did my ones in my Kungwu Pulsar for science to try to get better detent there by using their thicker springs, and that was kind of a fail. You can go watch that video. If I remember, I'll link it at the end. There's a little fucking bug. Alright, got it in the right spot. Got that in the right spot. So now the trick is to hold all this together by the grace of God and hopefully thread all this. And the only reason I'm starting with that screw is because I've got that bit in. I'm not a fan of that screw. See what I'm going to do. I'm going to go pivot. Just to give us a little stability. Now I'm going to try a different screw because that's what's happened on my stop pin earlier. I know I've got to keep that thin one for my other cage screw, but that one fits perfectly. I've got to take my little wrench here, hold up my liner, my wrench, my little crowbar from Countycom. This little plate is also from Countycom, my little gear plate, which is really cool because it's glow in the dark. Very, very cool. And guys, I'm going to do a Countycom because I've been buying their stuff forever, but I've got a lot of different stuff like this, like a bunch of different bit drivers. I've got to break it out of all my EDC kits. But I'm going to bring all that and we're going to look at it. I'm going to show you guys all that stuff. Because some of this stuff's really cool, like my little bit case here, which could be a pill case if you need it. It could be for carrying money. Anything, it's just a titanium locking case. Just neat stuff like that. So, pocket clip. Let's see if I'm going to get lucky. Nope. Pull a screw, but maybe it'll go back in. Nope. It's magnetized and acting all wonky. Go in there, please. So I don't have to start cussing you. Guys, I apologize. This should not have taken, or should not be taking, this much time because we still don't know if we're done or how close to done we're going to be. But I can assure you, see how my spring's bent more to triangle because it's in that middle area? I can assure you it's going to be stiffer. I can't assure you that it's going to be my jam because, like I said, when I started, the detent felt really good to me. It felt solid. It was snappy. I asked myself, can it get better? I guess it closes a little snappier. Dead nut centered, guys. Let's do this. Tighten that up. Dead nuts. It is a little tighter to pull back, which makes sense because we moved our spring from that further side out. We've increased the tension and moved it up. So it takes me more finger power to pull it back, but it does suck the blade in pretty well if I can get it pulled back. And it's real greasy right now. That's another issue that, get my alcohol, that I got a little lubrication on my hands there, making it kind of hard to manipulate it the way you want to. Let's just double check our screws. Notice I didn't use Loctite on anything. Not that I'm scared of Loctite, but I just didn't see a need yet. If I see that the pivot walks and I have to do some constant adjusting, or I have to do anything like that, of course I will consider that. I always like to check these stop pin and this cage screw. I call it the cage, the little liner screw, because you want all that pretty well taunted up. Don't want any wiggle, any walk in there. I could probably loosen up that pivot a hair if I wanted it more drop shutty, which I don't, but we'll do it. Just see what happens if I go a 1/16 of a turn. It drops. And has no side to side. However, I almost like it to not necessarily have that drop, but need just a little bit of help. See how I had to give it just a little bit of help? But yeah, I think that'll break in nicely. I think I need to get those springs, because now you've noticed they're operating on a little different axis point there, right? But that's my understanding. I can also do that on my Kaiser clutch. Might check that out, see if it's in any different way done, you know. But really cool. I love this little knife, the little Vosteed mini Nightshade. Comes with an extra set of springs that I thought I was going to need, but I didn't, so I'll put them back in the box. Great little knife. Really enjoy it. Having a blast with it. Don't think I'll go to the strongest setting. Don't really know. I mean, it definitely strengthened that detent. I can't imagine tweaking it all the way up. That would be a little too much. But yeah, guys, I appreciate each and every one of you hanging out, checking it out, visiting me, watching me do stuff, crazy stuff like this, watching me unbox knives, watching me do reviews, overviews, thoughts. Guys, I appreciate you more than you know. Sorry that this was so long. I do ask, always, please look out for that guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Please look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart, and please choose debate, not hate. You know, it's easy to just go off on a I hear you or I don't hear you, but I'm just going to choose to hate. It takes a little more patience, takes a little more skill, takes a little more poise to debate, or better yet, just listen and learn. Guys, what we do here, we're blessed to have a community like we do. Cherish it. Keep your opinions kind of on the down low. Love everybody, or hate everybody equally. But do me a favor. Continue to be you. I love each and every one of you. Till we meet again. Peace.